good place for it, and where can I, let me see, how can I do that through a reputable dealer that doesn't attach me to the government? No strings. That's my question.
Yeah, I wish I could answer that question for you. I can't. I'm not a financial analyst, and I'm not licensed. So if I said anything to you, they would come clamping down on me. And the motto of the Trends Journal, taught to me by my dear father, may his soul rest in peace. Anytime I'd be saying something, he'd say, think for yourself. And that's where I would leave it with you. Think for yourself. Real estate doesn't necessarily have to be a bad deal. It depends what you're buying and what your plans are to do with it. If it's a speculative deal, I would say that's not for me. Gold, I'll tell you where I'm going with gold. And by the way, I'm only invested in gold, major, and real estate, but I buy historic buildings. I have a 1750, a 1774, and a 1763, plus the building we're in here, the Mohegan Market, which is a beautiful old, 100-year-old building. But I buy, and I believe in gold prices, but here's what I think is going to happen. I believe that they're going to have to raise interest rates. The economy cannot sustain itself with interest rates going up, because that's the only thing that's propping up the housing market, which is now softening again, and the equity markets, which are now softening again. When they raise interest rates, there'll be panic on the street. Back to gold. I believe the downside gold is 1150, around there. But the upside potential is well over 2,000. So for me, I'm in gold for my golden years. I used to trade it as a young guy. My first buy was in late 1970s at $187.50 an ounce. So to me, when you invest in these things, again, I invest in real estate with my heart. I'm not stupid. I'm not doing it to lose money. But if I don't make a lot of money on it, it's okay, because I know I have a valuable asset in buying historic buildings. In gold, as I said, I'm in it long term, and I believe in it, because why would I want paper that's been devalued over 90% in 100 years?
Thanks for the call, James. Jim in Illinois, you're on the air with Gerald Celente. Go ahead, Jim.
Hi, how you doing today?
Good.
I've got a question for you. This Alex Jones has scared myself and probably half the nation, as far as these globalists are concerned, the fear they put into all of us. And I have a way of suggesting to stop these people, and it can be done with the help of him if he puts out a website with their names, phone numbers, and addresses on it. And I guarantee in 6 months, the people of America will make it very uncomfortable for these people to even exist and try and do harm to America.
Okay, thanks.
Well,
go ahead,
Gerald. They're in front of you already. I mean, they call the president, the Congress. I mean, what self-respecting adult would believe any of them? Oh, you like Lindsey Graham? You get it really nice with McCain? You think Pelosi got a brain? How about not so Feinstein? There's nothing behind the curtain but a decrepit old man pulling the levers. It's what you see. And by the way, we're doing something to change it. On May 2nd of 2015, from the most historic corner in the United States, the only place where there's a pre-Revolutionary War stone building, we have permission to close down the cross streets, and we're setting up our movement, OccupyPeace.us. You can go to the website. No foreign entanglements. This is the foundation upon which the Constitution was founded, right in this area. Every one of the founding fathers, beginning with Washington, a real commander-in-chief, a guy that fought, not these little chicken hawks that can't fight their way out of a paper bag. No foreign entanglements in his farewell address. Madison, Jefferson, every one of them, Franklin. So we're doing something. We believe that America can return to the greatness that it was that made it the land of opportunity. No foreign entanglements, rebuild America. I have a story for you, right out of today's Wall Street Journal. Here it is. Fighting Islamic State strains the budget. Congress and the president are under pressure to bolster Pentagon coffers to fund expanding efforts in the Middle East. And you're heard by our commander-in-chief. If you listen to his UN speech, which we broke down, we may be there for another 10 years or more. Unending war, one after another. And then you pick up the news, and what do you see? Over there in Detroit, federal judge rules Detroit residents have no fundamental right to water. You got it? We have all this money to fight and kill other people, but can't pay your water bill. The hell with you. And by the way, as I look at it, again, only speaking for myself, anyone that supports war, these kinds of war, is supporting murder. And I'm not a pacifist. I'm a close combat practitioner. Had my own school for many years. I believe in self-defense, but I don't believe in murdering innocent people. And here you have it. They're calling for more of our money that Eisenhower warned us against, the military-industrial complex, from stealing it as the nation's infrastructure rots. And this judge could give a flying anything about people that are too poor to pay for their water. Hey, Obama, where's your humanitarian mission? Motown is no town, but we gotta save them Yazidis on the mountain.
But, hey, Gerald, I mean, Raytheon, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, they're all doing really well. Their stocks are through the roof. I mean, who cares about people in Detroit? They've got no free water. The military-industrial complex is really making good out of this new war on ISIS, isn't it?
Oh, it's doing great. And that's why people say, you know, Mr. Celente, you point out the problems, but you don't give the solutions. Not true. You look at the Trends Journal, it's full of solutions. And the big solution is occupy peace. And I want to make this clear. This isn't going to be one of these rallies where everybody comes, yells, and screams and goes away. What do I do next? We're going to have takeaways. We're going to have action plans. And we have ours, but we want to hear yours as well. Again, occupypeace.us. We're launching a major movement. It's going to be officially launched from Colonial Kingston. By the way, right across the street from me is the Kingston Courthouse. John Jay was a juror here. 4 Supreme Court justices. The Constitution of New York State, the first capital of New York State before the British burnt the joint down, was written here. The important part of this, Paul, 90% of the United States Constitution comes from the New York State Constitution, written here by our founding fathers. I want a revolution, the Second American Revolution, one of peace, one of prosperity, one of morality, and one of spirituality. And I'm not talking about that New Age stuff or any religion. I'm talking about the spirit of the soul, the spirit of human dignity, the spirit of courage in a country that's turned coward, because only cowards would listen to the clowns that are leading them to disaster. What self-respecting human being would hail to the chief or bow to the queen?
David in Florida, you're on the air with Gerald Celente. Go ahead, David.
Hey, fellas, I really appreciate you being in America, Paul, and David, I certainly appreciate you as well. I wanted to say, Mr. Celente, I am a huge fan of what you do, and I'm an avid reader. I wanted to ask you, if you could, down the road, perhaps you could identify a little more clearly what the IBS actually stands for and what their power control really means in terms of the world order. And that's kind of really what I wanted to say. I didn't want to derail the conversation much, but you guys are doing a great job. Thank you very much. I enjoy it entirely.
Gerald, just a minute on that one before the break. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's very clear. You were talking about the military-industrial complex. It's a multinational takeover. How much more proof do you need? How many more Walmarts do you need to be built? How many more Home Depots that put all the people that used to have hardware stores out of business do you need? How many more Staples that took the lives out of people that own stationery stores? It's slavelandia worldwide. It's a multinational takeover. You got the neocon madmen and women, a handful, as Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, who, by the way, there is no one I respect more for geopolitical insights and economic knowledge than he. And he just did a piece breaking it down. A handful of madmen, neocons, and women, and he went back to the Dulles brothers under Eisenhower in the other years that have destroyed this nation. It's a multinational takeover. Return the nations to the people. It's the populist movement that the multinationals fear the most.
And we'll pick up on that populist movement after the break with Gerald Celente, trendsresearch.com. Final segment of the Alex Jones Show live coming up. We're done for the calls now, but we're going to get into the CFR, the populist uprising, and their attempts to co-opt that on the Alex Jones Show live, InfoWarsStore.com. Keep it right there for the final segment. Stay tuned.
Are you happy doing your laundry with perfumed detergents that irritate your skin? Are you happy washing your hands with stinking fragrances that gives your skin rashes? Are you happy paying new, higher prices for smaller boxes? Find your happiness today with our 1 to 4 year supply of pure soaps, or our 1 to 2 month sampler with bar soap, shampoo, laundry, and dish soap at 5starsoap.com. You deserve the best. Happiness is 5starsoap.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Nanoparticle parasites, termed viruses, will only infect the iron-poisoned, copper-depleted population. Parasites require an iron supply in the host to thrive and replicate. Just as chemical poisons, parasites are propagated via the food and water supply and vaccines. Those born after 1945 have the vaccine parasites. The vaccine parasites have a virulence level that will trigger mass activation now due to iron accumulating at an unprecedented rate. This is why disease, symptoms, and conditions are exploding in prevalence. Disease is caused by the same underlying condition, iron poisoning and low copper status. Measles, Ebola, enteroviruses are nanoparticle parasites. So when the officials say to prepare for pandemics, it is because they know of attempts to release virulent parasites into the population. And they know the vaccine parasites are about to activate on a mass scale. This is the plan for expedient extermination of the population. For further information, go to unveilingthem.com. That's UNVEILING them.com. Unveilingthem.com.
If you have candida overgrowth, just taking antifungal agents or starving yourself of sweets does not address the cause. Candida overgrowth is the result of a toxic, damaged, acidic, low oxygen, and inflamed tissue environment. The goal should be to remove the toxins, heal damaged tissues, restore healthy pH, eliminate inflammation, and feed beneficial bacteria. Previous usage of antibiotics or steroids or exposure to mercury or other toxins can damage many cells in the GI tract and body that make you prone to candida overgrowth. Removing toxins and healing tissues should be the goal. One World Whey is a whey protein food that supports detoxification, repair of tissues, and elimination of inflammation, healthy pH, and growth of beneficial bacteria. One World Whey is duly reformulated to be higher in protein and lower in carbohydrate. We believe One World Whey is an excellent food to support your efforts to create a healthy internal body environment. Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld.com.
He's going the distance. He's going for speed. She's all alone in a time of need. Because he's racing and pacing and plotting the course. He's fighting and biting and riding on his horse.
Final segment of the Alex Jones Show with Gerald Celente. Gerald, I just wanted to get your take on this because I know you've covered the secessionist movement in many issues of the Trends Journal. A couple of days ago, I wrote an article about how the CFR, in their Foreign Affairs magazine, basically admitted that this populist uprising was sweeping America, was sweeping Europe. Of course, we saw a narrow